Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the best new class mods in Baldur's Gate 3's mod manager. There's a lot of really cool ones being added every single day, and I'm going to break down some of the newest and greatest that I've seen and played with. And the first one I want to start with is the Pied Piper College of Rats Bard subclass mod. This is made by a Beat Around My Bush here. What's cool about it is it adds a bunch of little rats that can follow you around. You can see there. And we got a bunch of cool specific spells that are related to using rats to fight. So we got like a rat swarm here, which we can use rats to swarm in an area. It is pretty cool. I think that it's one of the most interesting class mods that I've seen. What other class mod lets you do things like this? This is absolutely hilarious. Then you also have some other ones that protect you from being frightened. You have the Acquired Taste here, which can play a tune that breaks enemies' concentrations, potentially making enemies vulnerable to psychic damage and deals psychic damage. And there's also the Summon the Rat King. So yeah, that's pretty cool too. And the Rat King is quite large, so we'll just summon him in there. And you can see there's the Rat King himself. So yeah, rats not for everybody, but I love the interesting different ways of playing this game. And even just seeing that rat swarm attack, you might be sold on it. It is hilarious. So once we hit level 3, we get to choose the College of Rats subclass here. Let you put on a show, and also you can remove VFX. So you get the roaming rats. You can make it so that they don't follow you if you don't want that. The rat swarm cantrip here, which I showed off. This does use a bardic inspiration, however, but it does hit in a huge area of effect, so it's worth using. And yeah, there's an action or a bonus action version of that. You also get at level 5 the Musophobia here. Paranoia sets in to all nearby creatures within 15 minutes as rats scurry across their vision. Once we hit level 8, we get the subclass feature Grievous Wounds. Enemies within 15 meters cannot restore health points, which is actually pretty strong. But I still think this class is somewhat balanced. We also get these unfazed here, making you immune to being frightened. And once we hit level 11, that's when you get to Summon the Rat King, which you saw there. It's actually pretty cool. And yeah, I'll be showing off all these different features here. So the Rat King can actually taunt enemies in an area of effect similar to the bear. So that's cool. It can goad them into attacking you. It also got a bite attack, which does psychic damage and can possibly infect the enemy that gets bit. It also has guidance, which you can apply, and it gets action surge. So it's pretty strong. It also has a hibernate, become immune to all damage for 2 turns. And get the benefits of a long rest. So it has 144 health. Absolutely cool to use. Fight alongside your rats here, but I just love this rat swarm cantrip. It looks hilarious. Like, yeah, that would have taken a lot of time to make work properly. So yeah, that in itself is pretty cool. Yeah, rat swarm. You got your roaming rats here, so when you apply this, it just has a bunch of rats that'll be running around wherever you may be. So you can see there, they're starting to pop up, and they actually follow along with you too. So yeah, you got your rats with you. Nearby allies cannot be frightened any longer, so you can use this basically as like an oath spell there. It's got that rat appearance. This is a really cool one. Acquired Taste breaks enemies' concentrations, as I mentioned, and this hits in a huge area of effect as well. So yeah, you got a bunch of different passives here that you can apply. So this one is a blast to play as, and I know this is a subclass mod. I'm doing class mods, but I just had to cover this one because I think that this is absolutely hilarious. Next, I want to show off the Valiant class mod. I've talked about it previously because this is a very cool class, and this mod is made by Avire here. What's awesome about this is it gives us a few different subclasses that work very well. Avire also made the Elementalist. If you used that class mod before, you know they make a lot of great things in their class. The Bulwark is the most true tank that I've ever seen in Baldur's Gate 3 that actually has goading attacks. You can raise your shield. I covered it in depth. It is very cool. So this time I think I'm going to show off the Maelstrom here. I'll also link a video where I talk about the Bulwark in full detail because I think it's the coolest tank that we got in Baldur's Gate 3. The Maelstrom's about using dual wielding weapons with fire and radiant damage. So you get like the swirling blades here, swift strikes, and then you also get Maelstrom stacks, which allow you to do a bit more damage through your more powerful attacks. So this one uses 20 Maelstrom there. There's also the Serpent, which is poison damage focused, but this is cool. Constricting Mark will give you 4 to 7 poison, acid, and necrotic damage, which is kind of awesome, but I'm going to be showing off this one here. They also have some unique fighting styles like Cloak and Dagger here, which gives you a number to hit a critical hit is reduced by 1. And you also unlock a spell to hone your weapons, make daggers, and short swords attack using a die of a D8. At level 2, you get Intense Heat, which applies burning or holy fire when dealing fire or radiant damage. Pretty cool little ability there. And at level 3, we get ourselves the dual wielder armor class bonus. So whenever we have 2 weapons, we get a +1 to AC. This also allows you to use 2 weapons that aren't light. And Maelstrom stacks are now 45, so you can continue to stack those up. And we get the Servicing Maelstrom. This will do either fire or radiant damage, which is the whole focus of this class. I think it's pretty cool. Subclass feature level 4, attack enemies with melee attacks now gives you 10 stacks, and then it can be used for more powerful abilities. Maelstrom Imbue will coat your weapon in Scorching Fire, adding 3 radiant damage, or Blinding Holy Fire, adding 3 radiant damage. So this goes well with all Radiating Orb gear. And there's a Surging Radiance. You just utilize Maelstrom to propel yourself forward, lashing enemies with Searing Flame and Blinding Holy Fire. Enemies may be knocked back 2 meters, so that uses 25 Maelstrom. So you get a bunch of different effects depending on how many Maelstrom stacks you got. It gives us an extra attack. Your Maelstrom stacks will increase to level 5. Those have the Chaotic Mark, which the enemies under effects of Scorching Flame or Holy Fire. You mix the two and make Chaotic Fire and immediately ready a Flaming Strike as a follow-up, usable once per combat. And the Flaming Strike there does 2d8 fire plus 2d8 of radiant damage. And then at level 6, we get our Surge of Flame, which whenever an enemy is under Scorching Flames or Holy Fire, deals force damage equal to your spellcasting modifier. Enemies under Chaotic Fire take extra force damage. And you have the Destructive Line doing 1d4 piercing, strike all enemies in front of you with a line, unleashing destruction. For each enemy you hit, you gain 1 turn of Destructive Generation, restoring 10 Maelstrom additionally per turn. And this attack can hit up to 6 enemies. This is a bonus action, so pretty cool. It also gives us techniques here, and each of these subclasses has their own unique ones, which just goes above and beyond what I could ever expect from a class mod. So you got like Swirling Teleport, which you can teleport to an area and do fire damage on a landing. There's a Vitality, which you can use this once per short rest and heal yourself by using fire. There's also the Flame Absorption Bolster, which can bolster your offenses temporarily. The Roaring Flames allows you to cause them to take 1 to 4 fire damage, possibly frightening them. And then also the Erupting Flames, which is 2d6 force, 1d6 fire, and 1d6 of radiant damage, and possibly knocks the enemy prone. We also get ourselves Mastery Charges here, which uses our more powerful abilities. And then there's also Retort Reduction. You are immune to reflected damage, such from Radiant Retort or Fleeting Protection, unless you would have taken over 100 damage. Kind of crazy. So this protects you from the Shards in Act 3. I think that's a really nice thing, because that would really make this build rough. Now resistance to fire and radiant damage to ignore enemies' resistances to fire and radiant. And our combat masteries. There's a ton of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. Some of them like apply silence. Yeah, Avire has made a lot of different abilities like this, which are so cool. And these really do spice up the class in a variety of different ways. You can choose these on the other subclass as well. It's really nice to see things like this be made. We also get max Maelstrom stacks of 80 at level 8, and then every attack will do 15 of them to give you to power up your more powerful abilities, like the Flash Fire here, which does 46 fire and radiant, ignoring resistance and possibly causes blindness to those that are affected. You can then also increase one of your attributes, so Strength, Constitution, or Wisdom by 2, and increases the capped by 2 as well, which is cool. And then at level 9, you can replenish one of your masteries whenever you use them. Subclass feature gives a +2 attack rolls, and Shining Sweep here does additional radiant damage on your attack, knocks them prone, and can possibly follow up with a Flaming Slam, which is really cool. But yeah, these combat masteries are awesome because they use your mastery charges, which is that unique resource there, so you don't use your Maelstrom, which is now at level 10 up to 100, and you also get an improved Chaotic Mark. And once per long rest, upon defeating an enemy, then you can use the Flaming Wrath here to make sure that your next attack does the maximum amount of damage. Really, really cool. And level 12 gives you overpowering radiance, doing additional radiant damage on your attack and leaving them charred, which makes them vulnerable to radiant and fire damage using 50 Maelstrom, which is cool because there's no other ways to apply vulnerability to fire radiant damage. So that is incredible. So again, the Valiant class mod by Avire, very, very well done. And next I'll be showing you the Weave Monk, which is a new class made by Purplesaurus Rex here. And what's nice about this is it's like a monk that uses some magic abilities with 4 different subclasses at the time of filming. Way of Samsara here, which use your key to absorb necrotic damage you take, later consumed and directed back at attackers after 10 turns. So the Way of the Eldritch Magic, which does the same for psychic damage. Way of Mo Verdine, which does the same to fire. And the Way of the Storm Raider, which gives you sweaty palms, a soaking unarmed attack that drenches your enemies and creates water surface. And you also get the Braid Lightning. You shape the weave to absorb lightning damage you take to later be consumed and direct back at your attackers. I'm going to show off this version of the class. Each of these is really cool though. Level 2, you get increased movement speed. You also can use your key to draw on the weave and add additional force damage to your attacks. We also get the Cold Snap here and Cantrip's Weave Art's Retribution, which does thunder and cold damage, or lightning and cold damage. And we also get to take a Weave Art Tiwaza here, which has a lot of different options. Apply bleeding on critical hits. Brass Knuckles knocks target prone on critical hit and give them chest trauma. This one will make it so when you do a critical hit, it leaves the target reeling. This will leave the targets with a weak grip when you do a crit. This one does additional piercing damage on crit, additional psychic damage, and paralyzes the attacker. Disarms the target and chance to leave him with weak grip. Dexterity modifiers add to the attack roll, and your wisdom is added to the damage on an opportunity attack. It's really cool. Touch the Evil deals additional necrotic damage. Snare, hold your opponents with a critical hit, which is also very nice. Death point counter, so when you take damage from a melee or weapon attack, counter with a dim mock technique that has a chance to deal additional force damage, and very slight chance to instantly kill. Fingers of the Five Fate, use a bonus action or key point on critical hit, or gain a bonus action or key point on critical hit. Increase your armor class by 1 against melee attackers, and whenever you take slashing damage from a weapon, there's a chance you gain a bonus action. A lot of abilities there, so cool. You also get Deflect Missiles, Feather Fall, subclass feature, Attunement Storm. Your key is attune to the atmosphere and draws power from it. You have an advantage attacking elementals, giants, and dragons, and they attack with disadvantage. You also get Thunderclap here, which is really nice. Randori as an attack up to 3 enemies at once, possibly disarming them and dealing that additional force. Abduction Tempest, which does thunder, lightning, and cold damage, and then also Throw Sparks, which gives you the ability to do a throw lightning, basically. You also get an Exhale Frost attack and the Cantrip Weave weapon. Adds either +1 attack rolls, deal additional cold, thunder, or lightning damage. And you can also take another one of these Weave Arts. A lot of the subclass feature or class features similar to the Monk, but then we also get cantrips like Weave Armor, Key Armor, which gives deals additional 1 to 10 force damage to any creature that hits you with a melee attack. And we get subclass features: Penitence Frost. Draw a key from your life fork, enhance your strikes. You take 1 to 4 thunder and lightning damage, and your unarmed attacks deal additional 7 to 19 cold damage. And you can swap that around for whatever elemental damage type you like. And you also have the Weave Shield Storm. So wreath your body in storm magic, providing a +1 armor class, resistance to thunder or lightning damage, and retaliate against melee attackers. So it's cool. You take more damage, but dish it out more too. You also get an Advanced Randori, allowing you to attack up to 4 targets at a time. Pretty nice there. And also class feature, deal additional force damage. Now add your wisdom and dexterity modifier. And also the deeper attunement. You have resistance to cold, lightning, and thunder damage, and +1 armor class when attacked by elementals, giants, and dragons. With another Weave Art here. And we also get the Storm Strike, doing additional thunder, lightning, and cold damage. This depends on what subclass you chose. And then at level 10 here, we get ourselves the Supply Split Braid. You are able to force your key through braid energy, unraveling additional strands and increasing damage. And also have Exhale Frost, doing cold damage there. Pretty strong. And then at level 11, we get the Randori Mastery. You can attack 5 targets and another Weave Art. And at level 12, you get the key Pulse Blizzard, doing an 88 of cold damage to the Cone of Cold. Bind your key to the weave and unleash a concentrated blast of snow and ice to everything in a 4-meter radius. Or Thunderstorm, doing thunder and lightning damage. So yeah, you got so many different options for elemental damage types here. I think this is an awesome subclass, or a class in general with 4 different subclasses. And yeah, these abilities are pretty cool. So if you're looking for something new, this could be it. If you like the Monk and you wish that the Way of the 4 Elements Monk was a little bit better, here's your chance to make it a little bit better. So yeah, they got some cool abilities here. You can make lightning fists, you got the cold fists. Everything about this is pretty fun, and I had to cover this one because I just think that this is a very well done class mod. So yeah, that's the Weave Monk. And finally, we got ourselves the Fiendish and Fiery Succubus class mod made by Neon Viper 44. There's a few different Succubus class mods in Baldur's Gate 3. I think this one is great though. So this stacks up lust charges on the enemy, so you can also do some different charming abilities. You add your charisma modifier to your armor class, and you get a bonus to persuasion. Now there's 2 subclasses, the Fiendish and the Fiery, which gives you either additional fire abilities or additional psychic based ones, like the Ray of Lust here. I'm going to show off the Fiendish Succubus here. So this gives us command, Caressing Touch, and this is a special one that uses charm points instead of spell slots. You also got the Fiendish Charm and the resistance to psychic damage, only taking half, which is really nice. The resistance to fire damage is also quite useful, but psychic damage can actually ruin your day later in the game. And you get additional charm points at level 2. You get the Draining Kiss, which is psychic damage, and you can recover your health points from that. You also get the Lust Step. Basically, you can teleport an area you can see and land with an explosion that inflicts 2 stacks of Lust. And I should explain, Lust is basically radiating orbs. It gives -2 attack rolls. Now, we also get cantrips, the Entracing Graze here, which does a 3d6 psychic damage, 1 turn of Entraced. And there's Psychic Blade, kind of similar to the Shadow Blade. And then also Lust Beam, which does 2 turns of Lust, and you can hit that in an area of effect. At level 4, we had Heartbreaker. They would have never given everything for you. Release your charm on an enemy and feel their heart. Filled with rage and regret, they'll only want to attack you. Song of Sleep, must make a wisdom saver. You can make him fall asleep as a concentration. And there's Absorb Energy, which gives additional psychic damage on attack. And this will recover charm points as well. We also have the Mind Drain, which you can drain a creature's mind, and if its wisdom's below 9, it takes damage and is stunned. And we also get the Charm Creature, the Destroy Minds doing 66 psychic damage, and the Compel Creature, which you can compel any charmed creature to fight alongside you for a turn, which is actually really cool. At level 6, we get the Honeyed Words. Your expertise in flattery and manipulation gives you a bonus to your persuasion checks. Mesmerizing Dance, perform an entrancing dance that mesmerizes enemies that are unable to take actions. And you also get the Succubus Invigoration, which can heal you and expose energy to heal a creature you can touch with 2 charm points. Then we also have the Infernal Chains. Bind your target with Infernal Chains that render it unable to move, and then attacks against it will have advantage. And we also get ourselves the Charm Field here, which can make it so that it charms enemies and deals psychic damage. And Conjure Fiendish Ally, which uses 4 charm points, and they get special abilities, which I'll show. This is the Mind Wipe and the Drain Life Force, drain the enemy life from a charm target. And with less than 50% of its maximum hit points, causes it to instantly die. And then also, creatures that save take psychic points, and you can recover charm points on success. And this one will basically affect the creatures and make them confused and remain charmed. At level 9, we get the Psychic Wave doing 2d8 psychic damage. The Control Mind, make it humanoid charmed by you, fight alongside you, makes a wisdom saving throw against your domination, and allies cannot be dominated. So basically, this is like a stronger version that lasts longer than just one single turn. And we also get the Ethereal Escape. When damaged, spend a reaction to escape to the ethereal plane, return to the battlefield at the start of your next turn. So basically, it's like banishing yourself as a safety measure. You also Controlled Creature, which must make a wisdom saving throw. And then also Charm Defense, take half damage from all sources for 2 turns using 2 charm points. And then we get increased movement speed at level 11, a Fly ability, and the Domination Aura, which unleash an aura controlling energy that makes all charmed creatures fight alongside you. Affected entities make a wisdom saving throw against your domination at the start of each turn. It uses 5 charm points, and it has a 9-meter radius, which is actually quite large. Very cool to be able to control multiple enemies at a time. And at our final level here, we get our Destroy Psych. It does a 10d6 psychic damage, and then also the Unwavering Loyalty. Force a humanoid charmed by your power to fight alongside you for 4 turns, and it cannot escape. So you basically have them under control. Super cool. And also another bonus here, persuasion checks. So here's the Fiendish Ally that you can get, the Conjured Cambion. It has its Caressing Touch, which gives additional psychic damage and makes disadvantage on their next enemy attack roll. Ray of Lust here, similar to the one that you get, which can stack up lust charges and does psychic damage there. And then they can also punch, which you should probably not do. But yeah, we got a lot of cool abilities here that are all about charming targets. I think this is really fun. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is a really fun class mod. And yeah, that's 4 new class mods in Baldur's Gate 3. Let me know which kind of mod content you want to see next in Baldur's Gate 3. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.